Let's get you updated on our grain market activity on this short trading week. Remember, we only have 4 days to get everything done this week. Let's turn to our quotes provided by Bar Chart. Let's go to the corn board and see what December is doing right now. Of course, September is in delivery mode. Well, December has firmed up a little bit. We opened up about flat, and now we're 2 1/4 higher. We're at 483 3/4. So that would put us about 2 cents from our earlier high last night. Now, on the soybeans, we had a sale of 251,000 tons of soybeans to unknown destinations overnight. In November, soybeans just not really budging. They're not blinking. November, it was a half cent lower. Now it's a 1/4 cent higher at 1369.5. Oh, exciting times in the soybean market today. That's kind of odd. We had a high of 1376.5 overnight, and now we're off of that by about 7 cents and some change. Let's take a look at the wheat market, and in Chicago, you have December now 3/4 higher. Now we're at 596 1/4, so that would put us about 6 cents off of our overnight high. Kansas City started out about a nickel lower today, and we're still there. December down 4 3/4 at 718, not much of a change there. In Minneapolis, December is now trading a penny and a quarter higher. We're at 761 per bushel, and that would be about a nickel off of its overnight high. Cotton trade had a big move overnight, and again this morning, December down 212 points at 87.83 as it has a steep decline here today. Well, we have the one and only Ben Hushon of the mill in Whitehall, Maryland, joining us here this morning for a weekly update. And Tim Ross had the radar map up a little bit ago, and I didn't see a whole lot in your neighborhood. Ben, I think you guys have been about as dry as anybody here the last couple of weeks.
Good morning, Marlin. That would be accurate, and we continued that pattern. And just to make the pattern change slightly, we continue to look like another week of dry weather coming, but just for fun, it's going to be in the mid-90s today, right on through the weekend. So it's you mentioned last week that the USDA had shown us in the drought monitor, and that we continue that pattern, that's for sure.
So what does that do to the crops? Are you running way ahead of schedule now, like a lot of areas are, or not?
So for the viewers, I sent in some videos that it kind of accelerated the corn silage harvest at this point. Was down at the Shenning farm this morning in Lower Harford County, and they were chopping silage. It was in the low 60s. Certainly okay, but for the folks that do custom harvesting, etc., the urgency to get it and get it as quick as they can is certainly ramped up. The other thing we're certainly seeing, well, and on the silage harvest, folks are telling me good yields, not great, but good. And remember, we did have a 7-week period of dry weather, which certainly shortened our corn, and that's only part of the yield. But you asked about, effects. The full season beans, I've noticed, certainly are continuing to go backwards. Pretty much, my opinion, I'd say they're likely done filling pods, seeing a lot of leaves turning color prematurely. But hey, that's what happens. And the double crop beans are going to certainly be aborting flowers. And of course, where the flower is where the pod might show up. So some of those upper going to be a little light on the double crop beans, I would think, based on this long dry spell we're in.
When's the last time you saw a finish on the soybeans like what you're seeing this year?
Memory test. I would say the last one I remember that was really sharp would have been 2012, but I'm sure we've had little spurts in between. The weird thing about this year is that 7-week dry period we went through early in the season when there were times farmers said, I think I may end up rotary mowing my corn crop, which didn't turn out to need to be done. And then now we're finishing. So we had dry early, and then now we're finishing dry definitely going to not be top yields, but certainly not as bad as it looked like it might be at one point in late July.
Yeah, thanks. Thank goodness for some of the midsummer rains that a lot of areas got. Kind of salvaged the year. All right, thank you, Ben. Appreciate you talking with us. Ben Hushon of the Mill in Whitehall, Maryland. Now we'll pause right here and we'll cover your livestock trade right after this.